Investment LLC, Cecilia Jefferson, Barbara Combs, Catherine Gaskin, Michael Joseph DeVille, Brenda Joyce Jones, also known as Brenda Joyce Guillory, Aramis King, Larry James King, Donald Raymond King, Sheila Ann Simon King, and William Samuel King Jr., owners. Another demolition at 709 McNabb Street, Garden Drilling Company Incorporated, owner. Another demolition at 1702 Commercial Street and 832 North Shattuck Street, Oxusina Madrigal, owner. Another demolition at 2015 Fifth Street, Quincy Raheen Borderline, owner. Another demolition at 1609 Simmons Street, Alan Jones and Dorothy Marie Jones Revocable Living Trust, owner, subject to a tax sale to the state of Louisiana. Another demolition at 2004 Fifth Street, Jamie Andres Ordonez and Natalia Ferrero Ordonez, owners. Another demolition at 1029 Gulf Street, garage only, Eva Mae White, owner. Another demolition at 3012 General Patton, Willie Morris Smith, senior owner, and Jean Michelle Smith, owners. Another demolition at 104 North Mall Street, Edgar Madrigal, owner. Another demolition at 2120 4th Street, garage only, April Monique Alzan, Valerie, owner. Another demolition at 103 North Prater Street, Wilmer Charles Grice Sr. and Jermaine Vital Grice, owners. Another demolition at 1630 Gifford Street, Denny L. Jones Montgomery, owner, subject to a tax sale to the state of Louisiana. Another demolition at 2611 General Patch, David Nanette, Melcher Renee Lyman, Vanessa Madison, and Derek Anthony Guidry, owners. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive and responsible bid and authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into an agreement for the purchase of water infrastructure maintenance and repair parts for use by the Public Works Department Water Division. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lake Charles ratifying the provisions of the Lake Charles Police Department policies pertaining to city police officers' utilization of mobile, video, and body-worn cameras that are currently in effect and as it may be amended in the future. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the state of Louisiana to receive allocated funds from Act 776 of the 2024 regular legislative session. An ordinance requesting to abandon a 5-foot drainage easement located between 1033 and 1100 Audubon Street. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Louisiana Municipal Association, LMA, for the LMA State Convention scheduled for July 29th through 31st, 2025 in Lake Charles. An ordinance authorizing the City of Lake Charles to enter into a joint services agreement with the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, authorizing Lake Charles Fire Department to continue to operate as the primary responding agency, providing emergency fire protection services in the unincorporated areas of Ward 3, Fire District 2 of the parish, and incorporate such terms and conditions as may be necessary to maintain or improve operational and financial efficiencies. An ordinance authorizing the renewal of the joint services agreement between the City of Lake Charles and the Calcasieu Parish Police Jury, authorizing the joint use, operation, and maintenance of the Calcasieu Emergency Response Training Center. Resolutions, a resolution accepting project number CP 2894, Nelson Road, 24-inch sewer line, CIPP lining from Wilmax South, 400 feet as substantially complete, and authorizing the advertising of the 45-day lien period. A resolution setting date for public hearing on alteration of shoreline, Creon Lake, to remove and replace an old timber boat dock and remove and replace old concrete boat head by installing vinyl sheeting and fill for bank line stabilization at 4000 Lock Lane, lot number 13. A resolution setting date for public hearing on condemnation of a structure located at 2008 12th Street, Natasha Young and Russell Young, owners, with a companion ordinance. A resolution setting date for public hearing on condemnation of a structure located at 2011 Evans Street, Olivia Davis Trahan, estate, owner, with a companion ordinance. A resolution setting date for public hearing on condemnation of a structure located at 903 Mill Street, Florence Murchison Breeder, Marjorie Breeder, Leonard Charles
One quick question, Mr. Cardone. Our Lake Charles Police Department's building, the SWAT building on Common Street that was supposed to have been done in January. I think it's almost July. Do we have an update on when that's going to be completed?
I do not.
We have a meeting on Thursday for the latest, but we met 2 weeks ago, and it appears that it is going to be near completion, according to the contractors, the end of July. But again, we have an update this Thursday, a walkthrough.
Do we know what the holdup was? I mean, that's
What we'll do is, if you can
That's
wait
way
till,
past
if you wait till
overtime.
after the meeting, we can give you an update on all of it, which will be Thursday, I believe, Chief, that meeting,
Yes, sir, we have a walkthrough Thursday.
okay, because
and we'll get you information
I
on it.
think we all know that we've been paying rent on a building for 6 months, 7 months.
We do.
and we
We've
should
had
have
some
been in this
conversations with
building.
legal about it, but we can bring you
I
up to
would
date.
appreciate if we would
Okay.
keep that up. That's all I got. Thank you.
Mr. Guillen. I have nothing. Ms. August.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing for the agenda, but I do wish to thank Chief Caldwell and his department for an excellent, I guess, lesson on what the body cams do, how they work. It was very informative as far as I was concerned, and I think that a lot of people who have problems saying that body cams are not working, blah, 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 they really need to get some background information on that, because I feel very comfortable knowing that the body cams work as they're supposed to. And the second thing that I'd like to ask the legal department, just for my information, because you never know when it's gonna come up. It's not about posted property. We know how to handle that. But are there any laws on the books that addresses squatters and squatters' rights, or if they have any? I do read about that in other areas, and Lake Charles is growing, and people are renovating properties that they don't necessarily live in, and they can be, taken advantage of. So do we have squatter laws on the books? And if not, if we do, what are they? And is it considered just a civil case where they have to go through this long, drawn-out process, or can the squatters be put out immediately off somebody's property that they don't own?
Yeah, Louisiana is a little different from other states.
Property, I didn't live there, and say I had to go out of town for maybe a month or so, and I come back and I find somebody living in my house and on my property. Immediate action can be taken to remove them?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you're saying?
As long as they're not a tenant of yours or they had a lease, then it's a civil matter. But if it's a situation like what you're saying, that somebody just squatted on the property because it was unoccupied, then they're technically a trespasser.
I just hear so many, and I've been reading up on it, and some people are selling property that don't belong to them, and when the rightful owner comes, it's a big old, problem. And I would think that if a person had the deed, their name was on the deed, and they had all the proof that they needed, they wouldn't have to go through all of that. But
Yeah.
it seems it has to go through this long process.
From what I read, states like New York and California, their laws are
Sir.
All right, I got a few things. One, I want to thank Public Works, give them kudos for making all of the alleys and no parking. They went out and they put the no parking signs, so it is on the books as the alleys are no parking. Property standards. I'd like for us to take a look at property standards. I think we need some more staff. I'm looking around, especially in my district, there are a lot more violations, but I don't think we have enough people to cover all of this. It could be overwhelming if you're trying to catch everything that's going on, from grass to parking cars to trailers, different things like that. So I'd like us to visit whether or not we can allocate some more spots to hire more property standards workers. The other thing, what is the policy for containers, storage containers? Can we have those if they store it in the yard, or can they store them on the street?
Mr. President?
Yes,
On a
sir.
temporary basis, they can, as part of a construction project, they can store them on the property as long as it's associated with a renovation or a project going on at the property. We just passed the ordinance adjusting the allowance for these portable storage containers, where they can be located. They can't be located in the front yard. They have to be screened. As far as them being located on the street, that is not allowed. And, you have to go through the Public Works process if you're going to be parking them in the street for a construction project. So that has to be reviewed separately.
Okay. So a container, I don't have the exact address. I got the pictures in my phone, but it's on 21st Street. It's across Fifth Avenue going east. There's a container and a porta-john on the street.
We can,
I don't know if they're preparing for construction, but it's been there over a month.
we can look at that.
Okay.
If you could send me the address.
All right. I'll get it for you.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
The other one is, we got a call last week on the Dorsey residence on Bancroft Street. That was a resident that when I took office, we had to go and repair their yard because the yard was sinking. We later found out that it was due to the city. The city was supposed to send some people back out to reevaluate that, because now, years later, the yard is caving in. And
Is that in the back?
yes, on Bancroft.
Have you seen?
I don't know, I think it's 2217 Bancroft, but it's Mr. Dorsey's residence.
Grass.
Yeah. So I'd like to get a status update on that. But it's on that section of the.
Also, President Marks.
Yes, sir.
I have a status update on
Okay.
that. We had several sewer line repairs that were done on that property a couple of years ago. There is additional repairs farther down from the first ones on that same property. We have engaged a engineering company to evaluate that, and we are looking at the pricing now for actually pipe bursting that entire section of line to do basically an inline replacement.
When you say pipe bursting, what you mean?
From one manhole to the next, the entire set of pipe. It won't be a point repair, it'll be a replacement in ground.
And that'll be on the expense of the city?
Yes.
Okay. All
And
right.
then once that work is done, then we'll go back and any repairs that need to be done, we'll make the repairs in.
Okay. All right. Thank you on that. I put in a traffic study a couple of weeks ago about State Street and I can't think of the name of it, but if you're familiar with State Street, it's a four-way stop right there. And I went out there and did my own little study and sat at that corner and watched that the cross lane, not the east-west lane, but the north-south lane, is horrible. People just run that sign. I mean, you can sit at that corner at the stop sign, and just as you get ready to cross, zoom, they come across. So we were supposed to do a traffic study on it. I want to know what's the status of it.
I
Nothing.
can't tell you today, but I can find out and have
Okay.
it for you tomorrow.
That'll be fine. The Madrid Apartments on 23rd Street. We've been having a recurring theme with them for the last 4 years. Every time about this time, let me say it this way, we've made them do some upgrades. They closed in the trash cans, they put a gate on it, but even now the gate stays open. And once the gate is open, you can see that they throw sofas, chairs, mattresses, everything, and it blows out across the street in the residence yard, one of which is mine. And I'd like us to go out and maybe put some paperwork on them instead of just keep notifying them every year we run across this. And that's on the 23rd Street side. Speed bumps. Do we have a update on the speed bumps? The few speed bumps we had to do, still had to put in on the 23rd, 22nd, and 23rd alleys. Do we have an update on that?
I do not. And Mr. Marks, I apologize for some of this. You know, Ms. Dowden left, and we've got someone taking her place, and we're trying to bring them up to date. We're going to try to give them, the new engineers, some of these requests and try to
Okay.
make sure they stay on top of it.
All right,
So I
appreciate it.
apologize for that.
Do we have parking laws in, I'll use Oak Park. I know that the insurance companies say that if your car is wrecked and you park going the wrong way, you're the person in violation. In Oak Park, between 20th and 22nd Street on the 7th Avenue, headed east side, we just got people, they're just starting to park their cars any kind of way on those streets. And I don't think that's legal. I think it's legal if they park the right way, but if we can get community policing to go out and perhaps monitor some of these, then we could probably do something before some accidents start to happen, because now we're parking cars and storage trailers on the street.
Mr. Mark, where was that again?
7th, between 20th and 22nd, between 5th Avenue going towards 7th Avenue, so it's headed east. You'll see, huh?
20th?
Between 20 and 21st.
What street?
20 and 22nd Streets.
But what street is it?
It's on both streets.
So, both of
Yeah.
them, okay.
The other thing is, and it's going to follow up in the community side of this, I have reported erosion at the corner of McNeese and South Park, and it's starting to, well, maybe not starting to, but very soon it's going to affect the teachers' credit union on that corner. I've gotten complaints from the credit union, rightfully so. Have some pictures, and I'll just put that on your docket right now, but somebody's come and speak a little bit later on that. I think that's all I have, Miss August.
I forgot to bring up, there are questions about those poles and those white bags to put up the new integer poles. They're not on neutral property, and they're not on, I guess, the right-of-way that would be allocated for the city to place it there. It's on the property owner's property. It's been there a while, so it's killing grass, and it's just sitting there, and people want to know if Integer is going to do anything about that after the work is done.
We'll find out.
Thank you.
We'll get.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, this is the portion of the meeting that we have the citizens address the council. I have Milton Bellard. State your name and address for the record, Mr. Bellard, and tell us what your issue is.
My name is Milton Billard at 1857 Gersh Memorial Drive, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Mr. President, I talked to you during the weekend, and you called me, you texted me today about, I wonder why y'all vote on the ordinance without how much money is involved, who getting the money and why, but you text the information. It says be on a fact sheet. I wonder why don't the public have the information while y'all discussing it rather than after the fact?
Well, I can't explain. The situation is, item number 26 on the agenda last week was a cooperative endeavor agreement between the city and the state. I think, Ms. McDaniel, it was like $200,000 allocated to that, and it can only be used for lakefront. But I explained to Mr. Milton that we have it in our fact sheet, so we know the dollar amount. But I think the question is, why is the fact sheets not available to the public?
Right.
Because nobody asked for them.
Or get asked.
Nobody, I'm sure the reason why, because nobody asked for them. I think Mr. Brown can attest to that. The way you can get it if you ask for it, if it's something available. But your council member is supposed to be able to explain that to you in the event that you need to know.
The question is, so a lot of times you have to go to get public information. I called President Craig, he got me in front, but we as a whole do not know where it came from. I know from experience over the years that when state legislators give you money, there's a legislative number, designate the money, So I understand why it can be part of the information the public can know what's going on.
I think what Mr. Milton is saying is when they reading the agenda, why can't that information be privy to them just like
A
this
dollar
agenda
amount.
is? I don't know if that's policy or we've never
Yeah, I mean,
looked into
it's-
it. Or what.
Remember, it's the council meetings, and we've never have done that. And typically, if it's like that and y'all ask, we give the information.
Right.
The agenda's posted. If somebody wants that information, they can call and we can give them additional information. We just never have made it that detailed on all the items.
So a lot of times you go, a question that might take 3 days of information. I say, since it's dollars, the public, spending public, why we should know the fiscal amount we give, rather have to go back and, if I didn't do no research, I wouldn't know nothing about it. So
Okay.
that's- I just wonder why it can't be a part of the fiscal note they tell me when all them introduced.
Well, I can say this, Mr. Milton, to shed a little light. First of all, let me say I'll check into the information and see what we can do to get it more readily available. But second of all, now that I'm thinking about it, when you come to the regular meeting, like this week coming up, when we read item number 26, the fact sheet will be given at the same time. Just like we do bids, we'll read it out and say what the fact sheet is. But if you want it to be more readily accessible, that's something we can look into.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, maybe if they have some extra agenda, on tables, anybody who wants to pick it up during the meeting, and they can see it.
Well, he's talking about the information,
The
like
dollar
if we
amount,
got an
fiscal
item,
note.
we go to the fact sheet and read
No,
off.
that's what I'm saying, but during our regular meetings, we do have fact sheets with our agenda in the book.
Yeah.
So if
Our book.
they have a book or two there,
Oh, you're talking about extra books?
yeah,
Okay.
that where they can look and see what it's all about.
Okay.
Right, so in other words,
I don't know if they're
like
gonna
you
print
said,
all
we
that,
have a
though.
book or two, we can look ourselves at the fact sheet. You having the questions.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna look into it and I'll get back with you and let you know what I find out.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I see one or two.
Mr. Miles
This sheet,
Brown,
not the agenda fact sheet.
state your name and address for the record.
That's a lot of information.
Miles Brown, 10204 4th Avenue. I got a question, really. I know y'all have this policy, well, y'all say you have this policy for people that file complaints, that if they need to, they can go to the 4th floor. But is there a way that y'all can have something in writing that explains this entire complaint process of how it works? Because based off of what is said now, there's nothing in writing that kind of explains how the rules work and how they go.
Have you ever asked when you went to file a complaint?
Yes.
And they don't have anything?
Yeah, so I contacted, I did a public records request on it, and there's nothing that states in writing how the process goes. Based off of what y'all said as far as how people file complaints, I got a message saying it's just, y'all said y'all go to 4th floor and that's it. But there's nothing that explains to people, okay, where do you go, how do you do this, how does the process work? And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because based off of what the process is now with this whole going to the 4th floor or whatever the case, it's not working.
What's not working about it?
Okay, so for example, April 30th, I came up here and I gave some information to the legal department. That information was supposed to go to the police for them to handle it. Meanwhile, 23 days later, the police contacted me asking me for that same information. Now, what was weird about it is, again, I went to the 4th floor. I don't know why. I had to get contacted by the police to give them the same information that I already gave them on the 4th floor. On top of that, what's weird is after they got done investigating what I gave them, they gave me a letter telling me, showing me what the process was, that they investigated it. But ironically, they put the jump drive that I gave them back in the envelope. But ironically, I'll keep saying that, the jump drive was stolen out of the envelope. So not only did the stuff I give to the legal department got lost or just haven't found it, the stuff that I gave, the stuff I gave to the police got stolen. Now, I'm not saying it's the police fault why that got stolen. It could have just been that it was just shipped wrong or whatever the case. But here it is, I put money, gave the stuff to the fourth floor, and then I gave stuff to the police, and that stuff is still getting lost. And that's...
Well, if I'm listening to you correctly, it's not the process of filing that you're talking about. It's talking about once it's filed, the transfer between the 4th floor and the police station.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And-
just want to be clear, it's not the process of you going file that you have a problem.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's just, it makes things too confusing as it is already. If you're adding to the fact that okay, the legal department go file there with complaints, because really it's not the legal department's job to deal with complaints. That's just something that's just added.
Well, I have to differ with you, Mr. Miles. If you remember, you came in here months ago, and you said going to the police station was intimidating.
I never said that.
Well, you made that in one of your complaints.
I don't know if I said that.
That's when we turned around and made it more feasible for general citizens to go to the 4th floor, where it would be less imposing on them to make a complaint. So that's what we did.
I don't believe ever me saying I feel intimidated going to the police file.
Actually, you can do either way.
Yeah.
You can go.
I've never said that.
If you feel more comfortable going to the police department,
Something that you file in the transfer from the 4th floor to the police,
Yeah.
it was lost or it took too long.
I lost it. They just never even sent it to them in the first place. And then I got contact from the police telling me to send the same thing over. So I did that, and they actually got it. But by the time they got done with it, they're supposed to give it back to me. But of course, the information that I gave them was just stolen.
Okay.
So this is two different instances of the same thing, and it's just not working. On top of the fact, whenever I do send stuff to the legal department, for example, when I came here May 7th and I asked about a traffic study, you told me to send the stuff to the legal department for them to transfer to Public Works. Since then, I have not got no answer from Public Works.
What was that in regard to that same
Traffic
4th
study.
Avenue?
Yeah.
We did give you a report back on that.
No, I didn't. I didn't get anything. When I came here May 7th and I sent the stuff, I came here and you told me, Mr. Cardone, to send the stuff to the legal department, I did with all the questions I had on the traffic study. And since then, I have not gotten anything from it.
I remember Mr. Harvey saying that we had did the study and it didn't warrant a stop sign.
No. I'm not talking about the traffic study itself. I'm not asking for a traffic study. I'm talking about when I was here May 7th, because all this stuff is recorded. I said I had some questions on the traffic study. I talked to them. You told me to fill out a paper and send it over to legal department. I sent it to legal department for them to contact me through Public Works to answer my questions that I had based off of the traffic study. Since then, over a month, that stuff was supposed to get sent to the Public Works, have not gotten an answer. So I called Public Works. They don't know anything about it. So that's why I'm saying, trying to make it to where go to the legal department to do everything, and it's really not in the process of them is their job.
You may have had some flaws with it, but it works. It generally works.
Okay.
So with your issues now, we're gonna relay you to.
We'll look into what he's saying. I think maybe the transition of personnel may have played a part in it. That if he's saying he got something to us and was supposed to forward it to Public Works, we'll try to track that down. Another thing, if we don't answer questions, we don't do like a deposition or discovery. We only do records. So if we have a record of something, we'll give it to you, but we don't answer questions like you do in a court case. So but that should have been explained to him if that's why he haven't received it. But we'll
and the thing was, it wasn't for the legal department to answer the questions. It was just for them to send over to Public Works, because they would have the answers that I would need to know. So it just was, the fact is, it's just everything, anytime a situation, it just tells people, go to legal department. But it's not necessarily legal department job on certain aspects. So it just doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm asking, really, there needs to be something in writing with this process as far as filing complaints or whatever the case, because again, it might be working for everybody else, but it's just ironic. Anytime I send stuff, it's just stuff get lost, or it's just sitting on somebody's desk for 3 months, and whatever the case may be. And I don't understand why. I do everything by the process. And so anything I say I can prove, or anything that's accused of me of doing something, I can prove as well. So that's why I'm bringing this up, because these things just constantly keep happening.
Okay, Mr. Miles, if you don't mind getting with the legal department again.
So go to the legal department again, and just trust.
The rules have been in place forever. And we're not asking you to do anything that we're not asking anybody else to do.
Yeah.
So the first step
Thank you.
is the legal department.
But there needs to be something in writing, because y'all came up with
Okay,
this,
but
y'all
we'll
came up with this
discuss
3
that
months
with-
ago.
Can you make that complaint with the legal department?
Y'all came up with this stuff 3 months ago from the city council.
And you telling me right now
Yeah.
that it ain't working.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but y'all the one that came up the process of telling people to go to the legal department.
Right.
It wasn't the legal department job in the first place. It was y'all that said, hey, go to the legal department. And I'm telling y'all because if y'all telling these people to do this and there's nothing in writing that says you have to do this.
And that's what I'm
and
telling
that's
you
what
now,
saying.
Mr. Miles.
Uh-huh.
If you go to the legal department, because the
Okay.
process is in place now, when the city
so
council did it.
So basically what I'm asking you is, if I fill out a public records request, it should explain the whole process.
If there's a
And
process
there's nothing,
for it.
and according to the city attorney, there's nothing in writing in the process explaining this stuff.
Okay.
There's nothing in writing.
You can go ask questions, and they'll give you answers, but they say they have documents printed out to give you in detail from A to Z.
questions.
Think about how many people would be wanting to do what you're doing. Think about how much time that would take and how much material it would take.
But that's the rights of citizens. We have the rights to do that.
Not everything's all the right of the citizens.
Yes, it is.
Some things,
We should be.
Mr. Miles,
Miles.
we're not going to go back and forth. You've had your 3 minutes. Have you addressed everything you wanted to say?
I have not addressed everything I wanted to say, because I
Okay,
had
let's
to
stay
bring that
focused
up.
then. What you got?
I got another thing. Question, this is just a hypothetical. If you or someone else in your district and you trying to get in contact with a councilman and they don't answer you, is there a possible way that you could contact another councilman?
Yeah, you can contact any councilman. That's
Okay.
why all the numbers are on there.
Okay. I just, not just for me, I'm just asking for other people.
Yes,
Just
you
in
can.
general.
Yes, you
Okay. All right.
Now, let's be specific about this. You may contact another council. You can ask him to look into something for you, but remember, it has to go through that other councilman that represent that district.
Yeah, I understand. It's just, I'm talking about just in general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying any councilman in particular, but if a councilman doesn't answer your questions, can you just go to one?
Just to be clear, we get elected in districts, but we represent the city of Lake Charles. We are the city council of the city of Lake Charles. So you can ask any councilman any question you may have, and we'll refer it back to the district.
To the
that it
other,
reflects.
yeah, just in case. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Thank you.
All right. We have one more, Mr. Jesse Busby.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Jesse Busby. I'm with the Calcasieu Teachers and Employees Credit Union located on the southwest corner of East McNeese and South Park. We contacted the city sometime last year, around June or July, regarding some erosion along South Park. Some workers from the city did come out, look at it at that time, and inferred that the issue may be a bigger problem than a temporary fix could handle, and that they would look more into it. I think they even talked about maybe contacting some engineers or something. We never heard back, so in May of this year, we reached back out to the office and were told that someone would come back out and look. The last response that we received was on June 5th, saying that an engineer did look at it and that at this time no fix has been recommended. I'm simply wanting to point this out to everyone's attention because this erosion is drastic, even to the point that there are now cables exposed from underneath the street. We're not sure what the cables are for. They could be dead for all I know. I really don't know. But this could end up causing much larger issues if not resolved. I could only imagine what would happen if the road caved in or anything of that sort. We would like to be advised on what the next steps would be to get this resolved.
Mr. Busby, I just want to be specific.
Yeah.
Is this starting to erode your parking lot or the side?
So it's at the point of, it's happening in multiple locations. It's worse in some than others, but it's primarily at the point of where our the entrance and exits are. It hasn't affected anything. I have seen some chunks of the street breaking off. Like, I guess I don't know how that's all made, but there's something like an underlaying layer of the street or something. It looks like some of that has broken off. But right now, it doesn't look like it's doing much damage to the road itself. But I mean, I can only imagine what it might do in time.
More rain and the more
And
usage.
that street has become a major thoroughfare for traffic.
Excuse me, Mr. Busby.
Yes.
Do you know who you were talking to or which department?
I'm going to say the wrong place probably, but I hope not. I think there was a Herman Stevens.
Okay.
And an Alicia.
Como?
Maybe? I don't know. Maybe, is that Public Works?
I'll tell you what
Mr. Babbitt,
I'll
no?
do. I'm going to get your phone number.
Okay.
And if we said we'd get back with you and we did not get back with you, that's our fault, and I apologize for that.
Yeah.
But I'll get a report on it. We'll get your information. I'll try to get back with you this week. Somebody will get back with you.
All right, I am traveling this week, but it'll be
How
my
about
cell
next week?
phone.
Next week?
No, that's fine. Just call my cell phone. If I don't answer, just leave a voicemail.
All right.
It's fine. Thank you.
That's all you have, Mr. Busby?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Anybody in the audience? Mr. Fundell? Just before you get started, Mr. Fundell, FYI, just a little tidbit.
Yes, I didn't get it in time. I'm sorry.
All right.
I know the president of the council. That's fine. My name is Donald Pondell, 1806 Second Avenue. I got a call from a lady. She's at 742 South Lines, and the house next door is in horrible shape. And she left me a text message, said May 22nd, they put a red tag on it. And she was calling the police because people was going into the house. And the police was supposed to make a call yesterday to there. I passed by there and the doors are open. It's a vacant house. And I want to understand what the red tag is. And if a house is vacant, who should secure it? And what happens if it become unsecure? What's the process?
I know.
Mr. Fondell, the red tag states that the house is unsafe to occupy. If it is open to the public, we can go look at it and possibly secure the home so no one's going in and out of it. But the police, once that red tag is placed on the property, they have the authority to go remove anyone that's in that home because it is classified as unsafe. So we will take that address, move forward, and do what we need to do to give the neighbor some comfort that it will be taken care of.
Okay, so when I first met the lady, she complained it's been going on the house been vacant. It didn't have a red tag, but people have been going in at night while she's trying to sleep. And it's open. I passed by there, the front, it's got burglar bars, but the burglar bar is open, so I know somebody been going in and out.
Now, since it has that red tag, that gives us the authority to keep people out of the home.
Okay, so what happens before they put a red tag? She's been living with this for quite a while now.
If the house was not open to the public or it didn't appear unsafe, then they probably didn't make a determination that it needed a red tag. But since, if it's open windows, broken windows, the doors are open, that gives us pause and to place the red tag on the property.
Okay, so
And Mr. Begaris, if I'm not mistaken, before our tagging process takes place, it should be on the homeowner. The homeowner to the upkeep of it.
Yes, the homeowner, whoever owns the property is still responsible for maintaining the
I
property.
got a second house at 1621 Second Avenue.
Okay.
The homeowner left it open. The police ran a couple of people off. They still running in and out every night. And then the door just swing open.
Address is noted. We'll
1821, okay.
We'll take care of that one also.
Okay.
But that one does that one have a red tag on it?
No, it doesn't have a red tag.
tag on
The
it.
lights are on, but folks are traveling
We
in
will
and
check it
out.
out.
Yes.
Mr. Fondell said 1621, then you said 1821.
I'm sorry, 1621 Second Avenue. The other home was 742 South Lines.
Anything else, Ms. Fundell?
No, that's it.
And
Thank you.
just for clarification, until the city can't get involved until we deem it unsafe and we post it. Other than that, we send our property standards to go and see that house is unsecure, and we try to contact the owners to do their part and boarding the house up or securing the house. Now it's at the point, like the one on Second Avenue, seems like to me it's still in the stage that we need to contact,
The owner.
not the owners.
Yeah, the owner.
But the one on Lion Street has been deemed a nuisance or unsafe. So like Doug said, we can do our part now.
Okay,
All right?
okay. All right, thank you.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Oh, boy, one more meeting, huh?
Hey, Renee,
Two more meetings.
Brother Stewart,
You doing good?
I'll decide.
Yeah, the last minute.
oh shucks, are keeping busy, huh?
Yeah, we are.
Little boy.